scratching it, okay? Richard, please. Good evening. I'm not used of holding. I love walking around without holding. But today I'm going to accept to be in prison for a few moments. So as they said, I'm called Richard Chazet. Practice at work. I am a Holy Cross priest. I've been a priest for the last 24 years. Up, I'm still young. So usually when people hear, so I'm going to try to be brief, as he said. One of the things is, one of the themes they gave us is healing the mind, spirit, faith, and mental health. So I'm going to try and squeeze, but I'm not used of squeezing myself. I wish you had given me a week. A week or two. But people in Kampala are always very, very fast. I come from Musambia Parish. I've never worked in Kampala Archdiocese all my time being a missionary. Now, usually when people hear mental health, when people hear faith, we quickly run to look at the a confusion. We could run at not being in a stable mind state, not being, and we usually try to ignore some of the things that are there. I've been in the mental health ministry for the last 15, 16 years. And I usually consider myself one of those who are not mentally okay. Because when you see some of the things at times we do, and you may realize, how did he do that? So there are moments, at times we all have that type of thing. So one thing I would start with is understanding who is a human person, because mental health, faith, and well-being all happen to a human person. So I will not ask questions, because if I ask questions, we cannot do the 1 hour and a half. If I had the time, I would have asked questions. I'm just going to go straight. Usually when people hear the word human being, most of the things we use about ourselves, either we shall say image of God, we shall say tribe. I'm in Uganda, what other tribes are in Uganda? Samia, what other tribes? Clan, you can use clans. You can use, at times people use status to identify themselves as human person. Someone will tell you, I'm Professor so-and-so, I'm Dr. so-and-so, I'm father, or I'm sister. A princess, thank you very much. I don't know from where. And some other people use things like nationality. When they look at me, and I've passed for being a Sudanese. I remember when things were not working very well, when I was working in Juba, I'd always say, I'm a Dinka, and they would say, go. And some of the things, when I'm in Kenya, I'm a Kalenjin. When I'm in Uganda, it depends where I am. I can either be a Munyankole, I can be, when I am on the other side, I'm a Rwandese. It can depend, when I'm in Congo, I'm a Nyamulenge. So it can fit wherever you are. Then what other things do we use to describe? Some of us have nicknames in Islam. Jane, I'm a man. What other things? Image, this is faith. Image of God is faith. And usually people find that we identify ourselves with some of these things and we're stuck to them. That's why in most cases I don't like using my title. I don't use any of my titles. I call myself Richard. Wherever you go, they say, who are you, Richard? And after some time when they realize who I am, they say, why didn't you tell us? I said, you would have treated me differently. But when I tell you my name, you do what? You treat me the way I'm supposed to have been. These, in actual sense, are what we call accidents. These are accidents. They don't define us, but are just accidents. They can change. Today I can be Mrs. So-and-so. Tomorrow when I leave or separate, I'm no longer Mrs. No? When my husband dies, I become a widow. And it changes. Today I can be status. Today I can be honorable, and tomorrow I'm no longer honorable. But usually people in Uganda, they like staying with the honorable. They fight with it and they go around with it. Huh? But these things, clan and tribes. My mother died last year. She died last year in October. She died even when I wasn't around. And I usually tell the people, that is the day when I knew who my father was. Huh? My mother was Mtoro. My father is Mganda. Hmm? That is the day I knew who my father was. Because she had shown me this man called Chaze, and that's your father. And when she died, now there's nobody who will change it. Because she's gone. No, but if she's around, so if your father and mother is still around, I mean your mother is still around, you know it can change. And when it changes, the tribe, the religion changes, the nationality changes, the clan changes, the tribe changes. That's why I'm calling them accidents. So they don't define you in any way. But I'm very lucky that now my father can't change. And I told him, you're my real father. He says, why? Because my mother has died. Because otherwise she would have changed and given me another man. These days people do it. So if I want it done, you consider yourself very lucky. Now, from there, there are things that we all have as human beings. That every human being in one way or another, whether is lame, whether is handicapped, whether it's white, whether it's brown, whether it's green, whether it's what, whether pink. One of the things we have is rationality. We are rational. Every human being is rational. This can be also referred to as cognitive process. Can be in some other places called intellect. We all have a will. And the will comes with choices. And these choices which we have is why we do, because of having a will, a free will, it is free. It is a free will. Everybody has a free will. Then the other one, we are all unique. We can't be the same. No? We are all unique. You can't be me. The moment I cease to be on this earth, there is no other me. You'll keep on saying he resembles. I remember when I was young, as I got older, I'm now 53 going to 54. As I get older, I realized that I resemble my father. But when I was young, I didn't know whom I resembled. But now I'm getting older. He's also a teacher like me, teaches with him at 82. No? But as I'm getting older, I'm realizing, by the way, I resemble this man. But however, I'm still unique. I can't do my things the way other people are doing it. I have to do them in the way I am made, in the way I am. No? I can't be the same. Then the other ones, we are irreplaceable. Irreplaceable. This in itself defines who we are as human beings. These others come later on after these have been understood. And the moment you understand that you are unique, you will understand mental health very, very, very well. You understand these other things we get, depression, you understand the anxieties, you understand the addictions we get, the ones that we work in addiction. You find that in people who are addicted, the moment you tell people, We are unique. We can't be the same. What worked for you can't work for me. What worked for the other person not work for me. We are unique. No? Are we together? So at the end of the day, as human beings, we express ourselves in many ways. And the way we express ourselves, in the ways we express ourselves, it is through what we call the self. The self. The self, I'll call it self. Self is the way me, the human being, interacts with the cosmos. The cosmos being the world. Or me, the way I interact with the outside and the inside of myself is what makes me the self. And these are things we take for granted, by the way. The way I look at him the first time is the way I will have learned how to look at people who look like him. I know the moment I walked in here, some of you may have had your presumptions about me before you knew who I was. So that man is tall, or that man is a northerner. Why is he putting those things? No? We have never seen priests who put on those things. But now you have seen me. Does it change your attitude about those things? No? At the end of the day. So the way I express, the way we're taught to express ourselves, we learned it from experience. We learned it from our families. We learn it from culture. We learn it from where we stay, where we grew up from. At the end of the day, the way I interpret what I have perceived, I learn it from my own family. For example, if I come and say, you're stupid. You're stupid. Right now he's laughing. But if we're in some other circle, I will say we are stupid. The next time I may hear a slap. Or how do you call me stupid? Or even he will turn. But because right now he knows I'm using it as an example, depending where we are. So the way we look at things, the way we look at things outside us is from experience, families, religion, even school, even education, exposure. Where have I grown from? How was I brought up? You know? In our culture, what do they do? I usually give examples of when I was growing up. I remember how they would teach young girls to sit. How they would say when you're going to sit, there's the way they would say you hold your dress behind and sit. These days things have changed. People come from nowhere, and the whole dress goes there, everything the other side, and you don't even know. But that's how, because people have not taught them how to sit, and you will not blame them. And everybody seems not to care what goes at the end of the day. Now, at the end of the day, the self has three ways of operating in approaching the world. One is pseudo, that is false. False. Then the other one is true or real. Then the other one is ideal. Ideal. Ideal is what I want to be. For example, I'm a Christian, I'm a Catholic. Good Catholics will always receive Holy Communion. They will always, every Sunday, go to church, and they will go every day, go for Mass. But as time goes on, that's what I want. But the reality doesn't allow me even to receive Holy Communion for various reasons. I may not receive, but I want to. But at the end of the day, the truth doesn't. Now, in false is that, for example, I don't react according to the real situation. For example, somebody, your elder may say something, or your boss may say something, and your response to him does not in any way resonate with what is inside you. You're saying thank you, but you are bleeding. Huh? You're saying thank you, it's okay, but inside you, it's not okay. But because of culture, because of experience, because of everything, you say it is okay, yet it is not. It's not okay. Huh? Then the true is when you say it the way it is. But usually when you say the way it is, usually brings you trouble. Now, following especially with the police, he always asks me, why are you like that to the police? Me, I don't carry a policeman in my car. I drive it. Say, you want to say, please get a taxi. How much do you want? And I will give it to you. And he takes the taxi. I don't take policemen in my car. And that's the resolution I made for myself. Why? I still don't remember very well, but I don't do it. Huh? Now, in that, all these, at times you tell a lie. You know, you can tell a lie to survive, not so? I usually hear people telling you, Nzija, yet is still seated, Nzija. Huh? I'm coming. That is another way. It is false, but you are doing it for something. All the things we do, telling the truth, telling the lie, we tell them because of survival. Huh? Survival. Somebody will tell a lie, you tell him, you go and tell him, I'm not around. And you're telling the child, but you are around. Why are you doing it? For survival. No? For survival. You tell the lie, you tell the truth, and ideal for the sake of survival. Everything we do as people is for survival. As we go on growing up, we get what we call mechanisms. Mechanisms of surviving. From these operations, false, true, and ideal. We develop mechanisms. Some of the mechanisms can be like lying. Lying is a mechanism of survival. I know some guys whom I grew up with who tell lies up to this time. 60, a man of 60 years old is telling a lie, and you can really say, and you know he's lying to you, but you just know that is the way he's surviving. Others will tell the truth. You know examples, eh? Others will tell you the truth, and the truth to survive. Others will act ideal. No? Once in a while, I see a number of Christians, Catholic Christians, and you can really see that he's really doing what he's doing it for survival. He will talk to you when he's bending like this, oh, Father, Father, Father. But when he turns, but this in front of him was for survival, to get what I want to survive. And that's how we are taught as human beings. We all once in a while do these things, no? To survive. Now, when you look at these mechanisms that we are using to survive, when they fail, we bring in other things, like manipulating. If manipulating survives, you fail to sleep, what do? You look for a tablet which you can swallow and sleep. If you fail, what comes in next? You bring a bit of changa, or kill me quick, or I'm not yet there. No? There are a number of things, or for some, they will smoke that thing, all of them in order to cope up with the tensions or with the interactions that are within this world of ours. No? And that's where mental health comes in at the end of the day. Now, another thing we usually ignore is the family. We all belong to families. We all belong to families. Me and him, we don't belong to families. Me and him. We belong to institutions. Usually when I tell it to a number of priests, sisters and brothers, they keep on saying, no, I belong to the Kampala Archdiocese family. I belong to Holy Cross family, or I belong to the Brothers of Christian Instruction families. They are not families, they are institutions. No, they are not. Why? I'm going to show you why they are not. There are some characteristics of families that are there. Usually when you ask somebody a family, what is a family? They will tell you father and mother and children. Huh? They should be related by blood and the clan and that type of stuff. But there are some characteristics in mental health that we look at other than father and mother, if you want to understand mental health very well, or even to understand what happens in a family. For me, as a therapist, you coming together here and sitting together as maybe husband and wife or whatever doesn't mean you're happy at home. It doesn't at all. No? Or you coming, it doesn't. But the other things I will look at and know either you're happy or not. Even when I'm baptizing kids, I can tell this kid seems to be coming from where there is the domestic violence. Even they cry. By the kids who come from the things, the way they cry, you can tell. Huh? How? There is that abnormality in their crying that is so continuous, as if they have seen something that is chasing them. No? In town here, you may not see me. I work in the village and I see some of these things. And you touch a kid and the kid becomes so violent. And you wonder, where is this violence coming from? Or even the church even running around the church, everywhere. I entered the church here. And so it's very organized. And in fact, brother told me, this cleanliness is not normal. Over this place, there should be some dirt. Because once we're used of that, now when this is the normal, says this cleanliness is not. But however, it's clean. At the end of the day, but you'll see the abnormalities in some cleanliness at times we call it OCD. Huh? Obsessive compulsion, being too clean for life. There should be some that for you to be normal. Yes. There should be some bit of that to be subnormal. Now, every family, as we saw from the self weight is done from, every family has what we call dynamics. Every family has dynamics. Dynamics are what they teach our children, the way we operate. Every family has dynamics. And these dynamics are interactions within our families. Every family has interactions. The way we talk, how do I talk to you? How do I talk to my father? How do I talk to my mother? How do I talk to the child? And these are called dynamics. And these dynamics come from characteristics like roles that are in every family. Characteristics like rules. Every family has rules. Characteristics like boundaries. Now, when you come to every family, you find that there are roles that are done. No? For example, the father has a role. The mother has a role. The mother and father as parents have their role. No? The children have their roles. The boys in that family as boys, as children, have a role. And even the girls as girls have a role. And again, the family as a family, all of them have roles. And these influences how the interactions are. Every family. Rules. Every family has rules. Every family. And these rules are unwritten. That's why me and him, our dioceses and our congregations don't fit to be families. Because you know very well when you eat. Is there a timetable for eating at home? The time for eating is there. Even the rooms are not marked 1, 2, 3, 4. You know where your father's room is. You know where your mother, you know where your own room is. You know, that's what makes it a home. No? Even if there is no door on the toilet, you know when there is a person. That's some dynamics we use. For example, like coughing. So when somebody coughs, you will just know there is somebody. These are interactions that we take them very, very, we usually don't look at them. And when somebody comes, he knows he's coming, he wants to announce he's coming, he will hit the legs and everybody know he has come. Those are dynamics. And the people in the house will know how to react when they hear, oh, something has come, no? I remember when my father would come back from work, and he didn't have money, we would tell. That day he would shout, and nobody would come closer. So when daddy shouts, there is no, those are interactions. And your children, the people you stay with, know what to do. When they hear the car pulling in, everybody will be calm as if there was nothing that was happening. But a lot was happening when you were aware. So those are some of the dynamics. At the end of the day, we grow in as individuals that make us who we are. Slowly by slowly. If you're in a place where people are abusing each other all the time, you will be a very good abuser. No, I usually watch some of these TikToks and hear somebody really saying words, and you wonder, this one grew from which type of family? And when you make a background check, you realize most of these things were not there. No? Most of those things were not there, and you say, I rest my case. But when you find somebody who has a number of things that these things were there are things we do, small things that at the end of the day, they influence us. Now we come in society. Society has one of those things that we call the normalcy range. This is positive, this is negative. Let us look at crying. Crying is something we all do or we have done before, no? And crying is normal. But crying is normal where? According to society. And how do you cry in a particular situation? I think we're all taught. There is a crying at death where you will shout, ooh, and culture. I know some cultures where they cry, they make it in the form of a song or not, but they're crying, weeping or wailing. Huh? It is done during death, it is normal. If it goes beyond a certain time, it becomes abnormal. If the way you cry at death is the way you cry at a wedding, they will call you a witch. But it's all crying. So there is a crying for wedding or party or being happy. How you can cry, then is that crying when somebody has died. Somebody even can roll and nobody will say, it's very painful. Oh. But if you roll on a wedding, then they will call the next ambulance, take you where? To Tabika. Laughing. There is that you can laugh. For example, ooh, no? It is okay when you are in these normal things. But try to imagine you are laughing at a funeral. Ooh, everybody will turn and look at you, and they will note you, and they will not see one. This is the cause of death. And in our African culture, we have what we call the principle of causality. Everything has been caused with a reason. That's how we think. Whether you are wearing a rosary, however big it is, or however small it is, the way it is at the end of the day, there is that principle. Why did he die? Why not the other? Why this one? They will always look for questions. At the end of the day, they will do it. So now, society is the one that determines who is mentally unstable or who is, depending on the realm. Now, in our mental health ministry, we have a number of things like us. But some of the things are not there in that mental health book, which you will be showing us later. Thank you very much.
By the way, I did not talk about this Serenity Center. This is the church hospital. It is a church specialized hospital for mental illnesses, which was founded by the three congregations, the Mir Hill, the White Fathers, the Holy Cross, and Jesuits, and supported by the Archdiocese of Kampala, located at Kaburamuriro Parish, just below the shrine. That's where we are. So after talking about the self and the family, I come to talk about now what we call the mental health. Each and every person who is seated here has mental health. And you and I, it is your responsibility. It is my responsibility to ensure that my mental health is stable. Mental health, we look at it in 7 to 8 dimensions. One, how is your economic well-being? If you are poor, if you are struggling, you cannot sleep. How is your occupational well-being? How comfortable are you with the job that you are doing? Is the job you are doing bringing stress? Is it bringing comfort? How is your intellectual well-being? Are you able to learn something new? How is your spiritual well-being? Your connection with your God, your connection with your higher power, your connection with your transcendence. How is your physical well-being? Are you struggling with hypertension? Are you struggling with malaria? Are you struggling with, with eating problems? That's the physical, the biological component, and so on and so forth. Now, we all have what we call the brains. And the brains are operating on these dimensions I've mentioned. Now, I don't expect to carry the dog, those have dogs here, and you're taking the dog to Tabika, all to us, and you're telling us, my dog is depressed. So now look for the psychiatrist, to look for the antidepressants, to give it this dog, so that the dog gets out of the low mood. Depression is low mood, eh? When your mood is low, when you're feeling sad. You cannot tell me that my dog is hearing voices, because the dog does not operate like that. So you and I have the brain. And I don't want to sound scary, that we are all potential patients of Tabika Hospital. You and I today, or within the next 2 hours, we can find ourselves sleeping at Tabika Hospital. Why? Because we have the brains, and this brain can go off at any time. Therefore, it is your responsibility to guard your brain, not me to guard your brain. It is a personal responsibility. Now, however, when it comes to mental illness, it is very different from the physical illness. If you get malaria, you will say, I'm feeling fever, and immediately you will go for medical checkup. However, there is what we call denial. People cannot accept mental illness. Who has been at Butabika by show of hands? What is at the gate of Butabika? Just to know the Butabika hospital is. What is at the gate? Eh? There is what? There is security. Not only security, there is police. I don't think there is police at Insambia Hospital, at Rubaga Hospital. People bring themselves. But at Tabika, people will be forced to come in. I go there for supervision, supervise the students who are there doing, masters in psychology. Now, it means we are all in the state of denial to accept that we are sick. Now that we have the mental illnesses, it becomes a point that we even start hiding people in our families who are struggling with mental illnesses. We all have the brain, no matter the status, no matter the amount of money you have, no matter your level of education, no matter what, mental illnesses can affect everybody, anybody. When you come to this place, 95% of the people we have are struggling with substance use. Marijuana, heroin, opioids, alcohol. And what category of people who are there? The big shots. The people whom you think that you don't expect this from their families. I can't
licensed professional therapist in Uganda for gambling addiction. Gambling is a disorder. I am told that some of gamble the way. That's how we can reach. Comes to section, but this section, they are very limited, they are which were like, all these when my people want to expose their genitals, other people to touch, because they can see people that. So anything you want to see these guys, all this, but they make it alive. So that's how we go there. We have a section before that. Also, if you know that you are a bad guy, it's your sexual, your sexuality, you need to go there. You go to that guy. Sexual dysfunction at mental disorders. Because sex is in that brain. Look at chemical on your transmitter for this.
Dependency personality disorder, we have avoidance personality disorder, and social personality disorder, schizoid personality disorder, and so on and so on and so forth. Okay, when we have all these, how do we manage them? Two forms that are made are approved. Two forms that are approved. One, psychiatric. Let this person get medical attention, not from the general medical doctors. The general medical doctors study a little about mental health. Go and look for a psychiatrist who has specialized in psychiatry. Two, you can also look for a neurologist. The neurologists, they study these neurons, like they are the ones who treat children who have neurodevelopmental disorders, including epilepsy. It is a neurotic form of disease. That is the medical form of intervention. The same with addiction. Don't lock your daughter, your son in the room because of addiction. That son of yours, you may find him dead because of withdrawals. The brain is already used of managing, of running, using substances. The moment you lock this person in the room, he or she will get serious effects. You have seen some who drink this wattage of ours. After drinking, they are shaking, what you call tremors in our language. Unless he has taken that drink, the hands will not stabilize. The hands are shaking because they are missing that chemical which is in his alcohol in order for him to stabilize. So these people, please, they need medical attention to guide them throughout the withdrawal process. That's the form number one. Form number two, you need also to use the psychotherapy, which is counseling. They've talked professionals who are trained to help these individuals. These include the psychologists, the counselors, you can approach even the social workers, and they can help you in this. I think we we can stop here. But I told you we need a week, eh? Unless you have questions. You have something? Okay.
Now, the topic was or the theme was healing the mind, the spirit, faith, and mental health. One of the things when you go and look in the Bible, for example, in the Bible we have a number of biblical figures who have faced emotional and psychological distress. They're there. We have Elijah, who was overwhelmed by suicidal thoughts. If you go and read 1 Kings 19:4, David experienced deep anguish. David, 1 Kings 19:4. Jacob is one, if you really want to understand stress, the loss and depression, read Jacob 3. Jesus himself, he expressed sorrow and distress. At times we can look. In fact, if you read the Passion of Christ, you can pick up a number of people in that story who are really distressed and who are psychologically. Remember the other women who were crying and telling him well for themselves. Himself saying, "Take this cup away from me." The moments that were in those types of moments, no. And however, God does not reject us in our pain. He always calls us closer. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and serves those who are crushed in the spirit. That's in Psalms 34 to 18. In fact, when you read the Psalms, there are a number of things that Psalms 34 verses 18. Faith can be a source of hope. In this book, I wrote an article. Has any of you seen this book? This magazine? Huh? This magazine was sold they are there, they're still there, they can still make them for you if you want. There are a number of them you can ask Father can get in touch with us, and then the Catholic Mental Health Awareness magazine. It was on the 15th of May. On the 15th of May, we were praying for those people who committed suicide in Rubaga Cathedral. Did you know about that? A number of people didn't come. Do you know why? They don't want to be associated with suicide. It's a cultural thing. But it was there with His grace, and they saw this book. This book has a number of things that you can find. This magazine, there is faith-based support system, how they can support strengthening families to face mental health and challenges and suicides suicide and addiction. Huh? There are a number of things that are there. Now, faith can be a source of hope, resilience, and healing. For example, prayer, scripture reading, fellowship. Fellowship is something that can be good. One of the things we do psycho-spiritual intervention. No? In our place, we do psycho-spiritual intervention. Everything we do it knowing we're doing ministry. We don't do work. Me, I'm not paid. No? I get stipend. If I'm to be paid, nobody can manage my money if I'm to be paid. Nobody can. He has told you I'm the only licensed. In fact, he forgot I'm the only licensed gambling addiction counselor in East Africa. The only one. So when you see here, you see only one person. The whole history is finished. The rest are doing try and error. Then faith can be fellowships. Fellowships are very good for people who have issues. For example, if I have an issue and we have fellowships, where we go together. That is, for example, like AA is a fellowship. AA is Alcoholic Anonymous. NA is a fellowship which is called Narcotic Anonymous. There are very many other fellowships that we can use. I think even charismatic, if it is handled very well, a movement can be a fellowship. If it is handled very well, it can be. You see how I'm emphasizing it. It can be very. It can be very, very good. No, if it's handled well. No? But also, okay, provides strength. Even where we worship, it provides strength. How me and him preach, how me and him understand it, it can provide strength to everybody else. No, the way I preach in the church is not the same way I'll preach in the rehab. It's not the same way I'll preach in Butabikan. So they're different because we have different needs. Our preaching is supposed to be bringing hope to others, helping others seek something that is out there. However, faith can also be misinterpretation of faith can hinder recovery. Misinterpretation of faith can hinder recovery in a sense that thinking every mental illness is spiritual. No? The moment you think that everything that's mental is spiritual, the other day I lost one of my friends. Magembe was one of the people we worked with in Bukalango. He would discern the moment he sees you're not fit for Bukalango, he sends you where you are supposed to go. Either Butabika or these other places that offer mental. I wish we had more like him. No? And I hope and I'm praying we have more of those people who do that type of, who have that gift. Myself, I don't have it. And I think at 50 plus, I don't need it. I can do something else. One of the things is that we encourage holistic healing. Holistic healing means that you look at the physical, you look at the emotional, and you look at the spiritual, and you look at the psyche. No, you just don't take care of the body, but you look at the psyche, you look at the physical and every other thing. So this can help even the spiritual being. You know, when I get malaria, I can say some words that can affect me spiritually. No, he talked to somebody smelling the only thing. I remember when I got COVID. That's when I realized this thing of smelling is very, very important. That thing we take for granted and taste. This is when you think it is, you just eat and you don't know that taste is very nice. I have never forgotten the moment I lost my smell for 1 week and a half. I reached the point of going even where it smells worst, see it smelling. Is it smelling, you know? That's when I realized that smelling is very, very, very important. COVID brought me closer to God because I've got COVID 7 times. It brought me very, very close to God. That's when I realized smelling is very, important. Testing is I take my things now with very, very great care. I just don't eat anything like. I don't want to have that time of moment. May your whole spirit, soul, and body be kept blameless at the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ. 1 Thessalonians 5:23 talks of the whole, you know. And then some practical tools that we can use in spiritual prayer. You know, at times I go hear people praying intercessions, and you wonder, what did he pray for? He has prayed for everything. The way I usually get my homilies when I go in I like working in the villages. I don't like working in town, Father. I love the villages a lot. Eh? You can tell the problems in the village by listening to the mass impatience. They will pray for the one who's eating, who's stealing my goats. They make announcements. The one who has eaten my matoke, the one who has done, and then you know, okay, so there is thievery. They will tell the ones who don't like each other, and you can tell by just listening to the mass intentions, and you know, this is what is going on in this village. Prayers and intercessions, scripture encouragement, Psalms, especially Psalms. Psalms are very spiritual encouragement, and Isaiah and Romans. Spiritual counseling and pastoral. That's another way we can do it as well. Fasting where appropriate. Are you hearing that? Not all of us can fast. Fasting where appropriate. 1, listening without judgment. You know, you can listen to somebody without judging the person. You listen to the person. Encouraging professional help. I know very many of us have people who are hidden in our houses who have problems, but you don't want people to know. Creating safe places in the church. For example, support groups. Creating safe places. Then promoting self-care. Self-care is very, 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 very important. No? You have to take time and take a whole day. Take time and go to the band. Take time and jump. Take time, go and see the animals in the park. There's nothing wrong with that. Spend money on yourself. That money you keep in the bank, we shall use it to bury you if you're not very careful. We shall fight for it when you are gone. I mean, that money you're working for who? Spend it on yourself. Wear a good shirt. Get a good watch. Buy a good phone. And hand a good one. And you look at it. And you, wear a good shoe. Have a good car. Enjoy these things. There's only one life, my brother and sisters. There's only one life. And where you can spend the rest, we don't know. Use the money on yourself that you make. So when you keep all in the bank, I've never forgotten the day when I buried my friend in Nairobi. And I'd just spoken with him. We were planning a goat party. And a few minutes later on, he died with the wife and the daughter and the brother. And one of the brothers survived. And I remember we went to the hospital before he had died. We were looking for money, 50,000 Kenyan shillings. This is back in 2003. Just 50,000 Kenyan shillings to put there before they take him. None of us had it. But this man, on the account, him and the wife, had more than 7 million Kenyan shillings. And we were looking for 50,000. So when you are keeping that money in the bank, you may be causing some aftercare. So please try to take care of your self-care sleeping is very, very important. So when you get leave, do not do what? don't finish that now. With that, I think we come to the end, and it was, if there's any questions, on what we come to the, yes, there are questions. Like you have said, Brother Chrysostom and Dr. Richard, this topic is so deep, and I can see you have been fearing to enter it. So we are going to have another round where we get feedback by way of questions or subtractions and additions. But before we do that, can we give another round of applause? To Brother Chrysostom Ahimbisiwe, and I didn't get a second name, Dr. Richard Chiprotich. Not the runner. So it is the time for questions. They will be selecting one by one to go for a cup of tea as we continue with the session. I will start. Brother, number one, you said this you need a week. Maybe you help us with your programs so that those who might want to attend, we might attend that week's session if you have programs. Then number two, we have always known that there are some mental health issues that are genetic, anxieties, depressions that are genetic, but current research says there is no mental health that is genetic, that these are acquired characteristics. So I want you to give us what is because in the past you could be stopped from joining priesthood if you had a history in your line of mental health. But then they are saying these are acquired characteristics, even now. So that for people who are preparing for marriage also can start screening their potential. But is it acquired or is genetic? Then the other one is talk about stigma. That if somebody has ever had a mental illness, I had a friend who actually died. He died. He was on mental health treatment, then he committed suicide. He used to make a lot of fun before he got the sickness. But even when he made a joke, when he was on treatment, they thought he was what? So they would say, go and take your tablets. Yet the guy was just making these normal jokes. So he was suffering from that stigma. He was saying it's stigma. Once you get this sickness, they think everything you do, even what a non-person would do, they would think. And they would take him back to Butabika immediately. And there he says you can't argue. Once you argue, they say, you are confirming that you are sick. So, brother, I want you to talk about stigma also. Any more questions?
Thank you very much, presenters. I fail to get the right titles for you because you talk about liturgy, you talk about mental health. So I get a little bit confused. I don't know who you are. Now, we have a monster known as dementia. Dementia seems when one is young, he cannot get dementia. So, and as we grow, I think we are turning potential candidates for dementia. How can you prevent that? How can we get rid of that? Because I feel as if I've started getting it, but At one time, I forgot where I put my car keys. Then I made a duplicate. When I came back, I found the car keys there. So I thought that was the beginning of dementia. So I want to make sure that I prevent it before it is too late, man.
Another question? Brother, you can be, okay.
Good evening to you all. Thank you, our dear facilitators, for the good work you've done. My question is going to be centered around what you talked about, what Musinya Magembe used to do, discerning between that mental part of someone being disturbed and also the other side of spiritual. Many times, given that many of us are not exposed to such trainings and facilitations, whenever someone gets such disorders, we run to church, we call priests, we call pastors, apostles, and whoever, neglecting the other part of exactly. And we neglect the medical side. So my question is, how best can someone discern? I know it could be somehow spiritual that maybe someone cannot handle that spiritually. So I would want to understand, how can I discern between the two? Is someone fit for Butabika, or is someone fit for Bukalango and wherever? Thank you.
There's an online question. First of all, I say thank you very much for the presentation. Then the question is, how can someone realize that they are mentally ill? And how should one respond to mental stress conditions?
Thank you, presenters. My inquiry is, what you're talking about affects everyone in Uganda and all over the world. Do you have an outline, a brief outline of how to identify the different levels of conditions you've been describing, so that they can help parents identify some of the problems you've been identifying, so that we may not have youths who are affected by something even the parents can't understand?
Thank you. This one I'm asking.
Yeah, continue.
Thank you. Brother Chrysostom seems to be so loaded that he needs to come back here. You are touching everywhere, but you are not going deep enough. If we can tell you, well, you're just starting and then you stopped scratching on top, you know? But let me ask this one specifically for men. You said something that touches many men that we interact with, that if you have a sexual dysfunction, you shouldn't go to, you shouldn't go where, you should go to Butabika. And yet, we are also told that our spouses sometimes get misadvised and take our trousers to witch doctors. So I would like to know whether you can attend to dysfunctions that are caused by some of those acts. Thank you very much.
There is another online question. It's saying that kindly advise on how to handle issues of rejection, especially by family, especially the wife, if you have had a mental health condition. Then somebody is asking, what is self-care? Is it the lavish aesthetic presented to us on social media? How can it be used to improve mental well-being? Can we have another round after they have answered this? Okay.
I will begin with the section one. Under that category of section, I'm going to mention four, only four. No children here. But online they are there. Okay. There's what we call array ejaculation. If you are a man, you just see a woman, before you reach there, you have already finished like chicken. It is not because you are weak down there, it is because you are weak in the brain has issues. We call it array ejaculation disorder. We have what we call erectile dysfunction disorder. Those who can't erect or they can erect like for 2 seconds, please don't go to the Mama Fina, go to the psychiatrist, they will help you. We have what we call orgasmic, women who can't reach orgasm. We have those who, it is a disorder, it is an illness. We have what we call genital pelvic pain disorder. Before the man enters you, the woman is feeling pain. This is common with women who have experienced sexual abuse in their early childhood. So these illnesses are in the brain. Now, when you see and you hear, and I come from the West, from the Archdiocese of Mbarara, and when I watch TV West, there are a lot of adverts about these drinks, that when you take it, you will be strong. These drinks have chemical substances which we call stimulants. Now, these stimulants, they make your brain function higher. They make you feel too high. So that you go and induce, or they mimic themselves, they become that feel-good hormone, and you become the very guy that is so best. But you are, in that drink, they are drugs. They are psychoactive drugs in that drink. And the moment you take it over and over, the brain will stop functioning using the natural chemicals, except it will start now functioning using this fake chemical you have introduced to your brain. And that's why it is that these illnesses are under the category of mental disorders. That's why I'm saying you need a psychiatrist to do an evaluation and you can get better. However, there is another form of medication, but which is not science-based. You can go if they give you a herb, they give you a drink, some so and so and so. They have their own concoction. It is not evidence-based practice, but if it works for you, better for you. Memory issue. When we age, the brain cells go degenerating. The more we age, the more the brain cells go degenerating. They start coming down. And the memory performance comes down. And we have the illnesses which are for basically older adults. They are not mental disorders. They are disease. They are like any other medical condition, like the Alzheimer's disease. Recently, you saw someone coming for to be vetted as an NRM and couldn't get out of the car. He's sick. It is an illness. It is a medical illness, the medical condition that needs treatment. So we have the Alzheimer's disease, the Parkinson's disease, the dementia. Once these illnesses have set in, they are long life illness. You will die like that. However, there is a possibility what we do, the medical personnel will say, we can slow down the progress of this disease. And they will give you the advice, including eating. They'll tell you, eat fish. Stop alcohol if you are drinking. Manage smoking so that you can slow down the progress of these illnesses. In fact, they will tell you manage your lifestyle. And then they can also give you the medication for memory enhancement. But they cannot say now you're going to put your memory as back as when you are 30 years old. No, they can slow it down. Another question which I will respond was about the outlining the conditions, how you can get into mental health. There's a lot of information online. However, be careful what you read. If you can read the Mayo Clinic, Mayo Clinic. If you can read the website of Cleveland Clinic, this is for John Hopkins, this is from medical. You will get to know these symptoms, but don't diagnose yourself. Don't go and buy medication for yourself. Remember, the medication for mental illnesses goes straight to the brain. And you can take the medication which can make your brain be in a condition that can be irreversible. So mental health is not like you can go and buy paracetamol. I have pain and I will take two times 3. This medication for mental illnesses is very tough because it works on the brain. So attend such programs. Be open to talk about your mental issues with the professionals. If you can attend short courses in mental health, it can be maybe 3, a short course on this, a short course on this. Be open to learning. Then someone asked me, if it takes 5 days, can you let us know when it is ready? We are thinking about that, organizing such programs, but at the moment we are invited, like how we have invited us. You invite us, you said, we have such and such training. Can you help us and do such and such a training? We are organized. For us, we shall come and provide you the training. Richard. Genetics. Stress.
My brother, you asked something about how can we discern? You know, there is something I wrote somewhere here. I said we are unique. The moment we realize that we are unique, the moment we have different gifts. And some of these gifts are developed, some of these gifts are given, and some of these gifts are learned. And if you want, the way I told you, I don't want some of these other things because they're so demanding. I think my younger brother may want them, but for me, I'm not. So how can you discern? That people who have, Father Magembe had that discernment that you would, and there are people who can discern. It's a gift. It's a gift from God. You know? How do I know you can discern? Keep on praying. Have I answered you? Then the other one is stigma. Stigma is very, very common. Stigma is very, very common because of lack of knowledge, of lack of knowing a number of things. I remember I was born in the time when HIV first came. I remember I lost a number of relatives with HIV. I remember how they would take away plates, they would take away what, if they knew one was what. Those of us who came from Masaka, once they would put you in the car to save money to take the body, then you would know kakato yakozechi awede, you know. But later on, if you look at the way we are treating people right now, it's different because of the knowledge that we have got, because of the awareness that we have. The month of June is the month of awareness for men mental health. No, this is our month as men. On my status, I've been putting things for men, and men. Everybody's asking me, but what's wrong with you, Richard? I said, no, this is our month. Because in our cultures, we have been taught to be strong. You're not supposed to cry. You're not supposed to do what's in public. But we know no more people cry. And the culture should allow us to cry as men and should allow us to express ourselves and put out some of the things that are there. Stigma is coming because of lack of knowledge. Stigma is coming because of lack of awareness. And stigma is coming because at times of some of misinterpretation of things. But as we know right now, in Uganda, we are becoming more and more aware of mental health. I know there is one person who said that why are they teaching these things of arts? Are the teachers still on strike? Or they stopped? They're still on strike, eh? The arts, eh? And they said one person said, why these people are doing psychology, doing Latin, doing wasting money? But as you see, we are needed. We are very, very needed. But then we should teach our young people not to make fun of people who have mental issues, like that old man he's talking about, the one who went to be nominated, and he has, I think he has Parkinson's, something related to Parkinson's, a neurological kind of disorder. But making fun of it and laughing about it is not something that is very good. It's not something that's very good. I saw some young boy who was making fun of him, and I was sort of praying for him that he should get the same condition, and then he will understand. Because nobody calls these conditions come, and all of us, we want to be okay. All of us, we really, really want to be okay, but the conditions come. Now, when it comes to genetic and mental illness, it is true that some of the diseases are genetical, but however, they need a condition or an environment where at times they can be. There are very many things that cause rejection. Some rejection can be caused by the fact that some people are not aware. Most of us, until something happens to you, you don't know it is far. You always think it's there. Until you lose somebody, you will never know the pain of losing an individual. No? I saw that I've seen that in Uganda. It's very, very common. Where you find that somebody has died and people are rejoicing. And you wonder, and somebody goes on the TV and he rejoices. Tomorrow when somebody dies, for him and he expects us to rejoice, he expects us to cry with him. we are all of us as human beings, the moment we realize that we are human beings, the moment we realize that you are by the fact that a human being, you can have a mental illness. For example, suicide is not for particular people. Suicide can be for anybody. I will never forget the day when I was studying in theology in Nairobi, when a priest whom I looked at up, an English, threw himself from a balcony to the floor. He said, hey, even these people I'm joining, they do it. I thought it was for others. Huh? So anybody can, because we are living, you can only miss it the moment you go 6 feet below. But so long as you are still above here, you are not safe. Tumsifu Yesu Kristo. You say milele, amina.
Some asked me about stress. I think we're online or here. We have two types of stress. Now I'm teaching psychology. We have internal stress. Internal stress is the stress which you invite by yourself. You are jealous of someone's son has gotten a bachelor's degree. You are jealous because this man has been ordained. It is you who has invited it. Are we together? So there are certain things which we do by ourselves and we invite stress by ourselves. We call it internal stress. So and so has been promoted at the place of work, it makes you irritable. You have invited stress to yourself. You are going to do exams, but you feel after doing exams, you have failed. You have invited it by yourself. It is you who failed exams and you feel stressed. I'm not responsible for you failing exams, right? You have contracted a disease, an STD, and you feel stressed. It is you who went there. External stress is the one which comes from outside. I've been verbal abused by my boss. Okay. People who bring it to me, there I feel stressed. Stress is a part of human life. If you don't want to be stressed, you kill yourself. You die. By suicide, you have sort of once and for all, which you don't also accept. Actually, we do suicide prevention training. How do you know that this person is almost committing suicide? But this is not the case for today. We shall do it later on. We'll do suicide prevention. So stress is a part of human life, and there is no life without stress. I meet people telling me that, brother, now for you, you are okay. When you see this man in his castle, you see him as a very happy man. The house is so nice, it's so neat, food is prepared. They wash for him. He doesn't wash this castle. And he say, happy man. But if he tells you what he's going through, you can't accept. He has a lot of stress. So stress is part of our life. However, the difference is on management. So we need to learn how to manage stress at our places of work, in our families, you know. So stress is always managed. How do you manage stress? Take care of yourself. Have time to relax. Move out. I had a burnout because sometimes I overwork. You called me and I was turning this invitation down because I just am from the Viva. Viva is when the students of masters are defending their dissertations. And I marked 5 of them. I had to sit and give my remarks. From there, I had to now to battle with the jam to come here, and I said, Father, I don't think I will make it, but can I ask someone else to come? Now, thank God that they divided the group into 2 because we usually end at around this time. So I had a chance to come. So when I got a burnout, I said, I will not go home. When I go home, I sleep in my house. It is another war. You people coming to beg, the scholarship at Chisubi. Now my son, I also get another stress. I picked the car, I drove, up to sides of Fort Porter. I went, my sister saw me reaching there. And I said, I've come to rest for 3 days here. I was at peace because nobody knew I was around. I am even far away from my home. 5 days, I came back to Kampala. I was refreshed. Take time out. Take time out. Take care of yourself. Know the things you can manage and things you cannot manage. Certain things are out of your spectrum. For instance, if I am always arrogant and abusive to you with my words, learn to manage me because you are not in control of my mouth. I can throw the word anytime to you. So learn to handle you people who are above you. So you say, no, you've got your word. That's how it is. But because you cannot control me. So learn things which you are in charge, which you can control, and things which are out of your control. I have a good questions here. Which type of mental disorder can make a person talk alone when moving on the road? No, some people are planning. Some people plan by talking. Now, when I reach there, some people plan by because when we are here, we are communicating, internal communication within our brains, right? But some people go further and start talking, even see them swinging, as long as they are aware of what they are talking. As long as they are aware of what they are communicating, they are not sick, they are planning. But if you are talking and you feel, I had a client, I really felt bad about him. He would come from the storage building, come outside, look left, look right, and he goes back. He did it 3 times, and I was always watching. One of the things we do in mental health is observation. We observe. So we observe the patterns of life. So when he did it for the 4th time, he cried. And he says, Mom is calling me, but when I reach here, she just disappears. He was experiencing hallucinations. So you need to separate, are these hallucinations or this person is planning? I have a sister who can dream what she discussed with a friend. And when you ask her, she can't remember about the dream. What do you think this is wrong? Is there anything wrong with her mental health? No. Dreams, they reside in what we call the subconscious. Subconscious covers the 95% of our brain. The 5%, the one which you are proud of that you have here, is 5. The other big percentage, which is 95%, is subconscious. And when you are sleeping, it is awake. But it forgets. So you can dream and forget. So to dream, if you go and read much more about psychoanalysis by Sigmund Freud, he talks much about dream and dream analysis. To dream is the replication of what happened during the day, or what you discussed, or what you are planning, but it is residing in the subconscious, which covers the biggest part of the brain. I wish Richard answered this. Can you render this service at a free of charge when invited to our workplace and educate our colleagues too? This one, which I'm reading. Can you render this service at free of charge when invited at our place of work and educate our colleagues also? Yes.
I stay in the Moshi Arusha. If you can pick me and take me back, I will come and give a talk. So that's what I'm saying. It takes some time to come to and from. At times we use it, we do it. There's something that we usually miss. When you look in most of the books that we use for diagnosis and there's what they call NOS, not otherwise specified. Now, not otherwise specified may not be in the book, what you was talking about, DSM-5 or the ICD of the medical doctors, if there is anyone here.
ICD 11. So NOS means not otherwise specified. This is acknowledging the fact that there are some other things that may not necessarily be within science that we are doing, and there may be some other cultural things where you come from, some other cultural things, some other spiritual realms that may be involved. I will give you an example of somebody, in our hub where we have one individual where the father has asked, please help me and get me somebody who can pray. That follows in spiritual intervention, where I will look for somebody who can help. If he can do exorcism, if he can pray, depending on the faith of the individual, which fits from not otherwise specified. Okay? There are some other things, as I said, if we had time, some of these things in that book, the DSM-5, the things you are looking at for on the Google, Ask Mr. Google, some of the things are political. You have to be very careful. Some of the things are political. Some of the things don't consider culture. No? For example, I'll give you an example of one of my colleagues whom we're with another African sister back in Indiana. No? She drove. She got out of her room with her gown, picked the keys from where they keep the keys, got her into her car and drove. She drove like from here up to this. This is in Tinda, right? She drove like from here up to around past Mitiana. She was sleeping. She was not, after some time, she reached in one of the big cities, and she got up and called one of our colleagues, no names because I don't know who's online. Here, nobody knows that person, but I don't know who's online. Huh? So he called that individual and said, I'm lost. Father, yes, where are you? He says, you put on those Samsungs, they have what, Find Me. There's an app for finding. He said, put on Find Me, and put on Find Me. And then this one realized she had driven over 115 kilometers. Huh? Driven. And then he had to come and says, Richard, so and so is lost. Where is she? She has driven. How did she get there? Night sleepwalking. When you go in that book, he talks about, it is called dissociative disorder. But when we come into our nose, it can be called what? Night dancing. Dissociative, somebody's not doing what. So we picked her. I remember I drove her car back to where we were going back to the university. We drove back the car. Up to today, she has never understood how she got in that place. But if it had happened here, the culture would have been different. So we understand each other. So some of these things, they get to each other, we understand things differently. Okay? I think we are done. Huh? So, okay, one, no, I can't miss Mzee. You. Some of these things, no, let me start with an elder. Start with an elder. People like that sequence there, and then the youngest.
Okay, thank you very much for recognizing me that I'm Mosaic. Now, I was reading a book, and it said one of the ways of preventing dementia, I'm still on dementia, man, is by having enough sleep, reading books, and also visiting some places for change your environment. Is that statement correct or not?
But the brain is able to manufacture some cells that you can keep on. So you can do like puzzle, you can the next activity that can change your brain.
Brother, there are some people online who want to hear that, so you repeat it. They have not picked it.
You are actually right, but again, you can also do some what we call the mental challenging activities, like the puzzles. There are some puzzles which you have to fix, you fix until you get like the math, the face of the human person. That these simple puzzles which are online, you know, like how we train the brain of a child. You go back, you retrain your brain, challenging your brain, you know, going for your hobbies. You see people playing this game, golf. They are trying to enhance their brain. So if you keep doing that, you are able to maintain your memory. Yes. Avoiding the calculator, so you can.
Without using.
This is about those, like the example is just given about people who walk and or travel and they don't know they are doing that. And once I was around Crescent Towers, then I bump on this young man, maybe about late 20s, early 30s, and he's sweating all over. And he stops me, "Excuse me, sir, I'd like you to help me, some direction. Where do I pass to go to Ginger?" And I'm like, "You are going to Ginger?" That, "Yes." "Where are you coming from?" I've come from Kabanyolo." "And you've walked all the way into?" "Yes." And you're going to Ginger?" That, "Yes." I didn't know how to react to that. I would like you to advise her. How do you attend to such a person? Do you call police? Do you arrest? What do you do? Do you allow him to walk, continue walking like that? I would like to help such a person. Thank you.
Evening, everyone. Mine is it's specifically about children. I have a 7-year-old son. I don't know, maybe I need help from all parents. He's my firstborn. Meanwhile, I'm a single mom. So he's this kind of child. He will come there. He won't be ashamed. Like he doesn't fear people. Then secondly, whatever you say, he will not listen. Sometimes I reach an extent of beating him with, I don't know, I'm sorry to say this, but some mothers would understand me. I feel like killing him. You stop him from doing something, seriously, you stop him from doing something, he will still do the same thing. Then another thing, he can say something in public when you have visitors and you feel embarrassed, you feel like hiding yourself. So is it also do I need some kind of help? Because sometimes I feel like I might kill him. Because I had issues with my mother. My mother was like, "Why did you give birth to him?" Because sometimes I beat him and I feel like, this is too much. Am I the one who needs help or him?
Thank you very much. I'm actually not really sure if I should ask a question after that, but mine is about social stigma that you talked about, and it is relating to phobias, because I have a few people, relatives, who have phobias that are almost not recognized in society. They have a deep fear for insects, deep fear for dogs and cats, and it is laughable. But when that animal or when that insect is in front of them, it is absolute fear. Absolute fear. terror. And I remember when we were young, we used to play, you know, they get insane, they chase you with it. It's funny. But when I grew up as an adult, I had that fear significantly. So where does that fall in the mental health spectrum? Thank you.
Now, let me just look at Madam. Okay, Madam. I feel with you with what is going on. Of course, I know every parent would want the child to behave well. Everybody would want the child to succeed. And you know, and I'm glad, Father, I think you have a very type of, I would say, mature group. People who seem to be aware of what, because I looked around when she was talking, I was trying to see somebody whom I could scorn, but I failed to get anybody whom I could scorn. So I think you're doing very good work with the bringing some mental awareness. So it's unfortunate that we cannot discuss that type of case here, because there are very many other things one has to know to make a conclusion. It may be about you, it may be about the child, it may be about the environment. It was talking of economic factors. These days things are very hard. Paying school fees for kids can bring a number of things. I remember 2 weeks ago, my pressure was high because of paying school fees. And if I don't know if a kid had passed in front of me, what I would have done. So there are a number of things that are there, you know? So we shall leave our number, and then we can have a private talk. That is what is that? Other than doing it here, we're online, people online, because you can read everybody. No, for hers is very special. It is very special, and then she can do that, no? We can try and help you, and we see how best we can to do that. Now, there are very many things. I don't know, as you were talking, I remember the number of things that were there, no? Walking to Ginger. I remember a number of things. Huh? These bodies you see are not ours. I don't know if you've ever realized that. In my mother's language, they call it tekchuro. When the eye does like this. You can try to stop it, but it still embarrasses you and keeps on doing like that. Those of us who are getting old, I'm one of them. Once you cross 45, you have begun the countdown. Things begin changing in the body. You feel pain where it was not feeling. You don't remember what hit you. At times you are there and your hand begins shaking and try to stop it, but it shakes, no? These are some of the things that happen to us, no? These bodies know how to protect themselves at times, no? I worked with a child who had lost all the language, with a young girl in one of the schools in Western Uganda, who forgot her language. She was Mchiga. The mother was Mfumbira, the father was Mchiga. She couldn't remember the Chiga, neither Mfumbira, but only English. She was studying in one of the best schools down in that. This is very many years ago. So when we kept on looking, wanting to find out what exactly happened, they went for prayers, they went for a number of stuff. But after some time, I remember I was working with some old American sister who was my supervisor. She told me, Richard, try to inquire more about her sexual life. So we went in to inquire about her thing until one time when she saw some image of something. I saw kids there, they're gone. Huh? She saw an image. I hope there are no kids online. If you have a kid online, please remove it because I'm going to say something that may not be so pleasing for the ears of the kids. I hope they have done it. Huh? I assume, I don't want to be one of those whom you say that I have done something wrong. So she began drawing things in the shape of a penis. Things in the shape of a penis. And then when she would see them, she could get what, no? She could do that type of stuff. So until one time I dared ask, some of these things are very hard to ask. I asked, were you sexual abused? And then she passed out again. No? So she comes back, I asked the same question again, she passed out again. After some time she came back and then I realized where that whole thing. Eventually she was able to talk about it. And slowly by slowly the language, the chiga came back. Huh? It looks strange. It's like a miracle, it's like a story. Huh? The body shuts itself down. There's a way to protect itself. I think you don't have control over it. This girl had been abused by one of the members in one of the churches whom she considered very, very, very highly, one of those prayer groups. So she couldn't take it in. I think she couldn't have what, so the body just did what? Shut down. At the end of the day, but eventually it opened up. But now she got okay. Now she's one of the senior people around Uganda. She studied, went to India, did the stuff, and came back and that type of stuff. At times, sleepwalking has a number of things that we're protecting ourselves from. If it is not psychotic, has something to do with psychosis, what he has been explaining, and these other things. At times, there are some ways the body is controlling itself, whereby we need to find out some of the things we can do. It's unfortunate that in Uganda, a number of us are not well informed. I remember one of the things I realized when I was studying in the US, we had what we called medicine break. I was studying in a class of 21 people. Me and the Indian were the only ones who were not swallowing medicine. The rest of the people were cup. You hear them shaking things and swallowing, you know, because they have accepted it. Even in school, they have it because we study in the evening. But there are things that we really, really need to understand. Now, if I go to the police, because I've seen the police at times beating people who are psychotic, and I keep on wondering, why do you slap? Why do you tie somebody who's psychotic? Tying people who are psychotic, throwing people, beating them up, and that type of stuff, because it's of lack of awareness. What do we do? I don't know. I'm trying to find out what can we really do. Do I take them to the church? Father will say, Katimutekewa. If you try to take him to the LOC, the number thing, I think one of the things we can do is try to create awareness. And awareness begins with me and you. So if you can try to see if we find that type of person, you can maybe, at times, if we had like a mental hospital, and we can help the person. Butabika is one of the best mental facilities in Uganda. It is very good. It's a hospital like any other hospital, but has a lot of stigma on it to an extent that they wanted even to change the name. You know? So we need a lot of help that we can do. We know that we can help such people, but we don't know what exactly we can do. If I was in some other places, there's a number, helpline line, I can call. However, in Uganda these days, we are getting what we call shelters. I was told there's a shelter somewhere around here. Following morning, you find where you can put them. So, but otherwise, I don't know how much I can help. Uganda, the system, we don't trust anybody. You may think the person is a thief or somebody is looking for what because of trust issues.
I want to add something small and in an area which I did not touch, which is very, very important. That's what we call post-traumatic stress disorder. It is a serious mental condition or a mental illness whereby what happened to us in the past, the memories got locked in the brain, in the part of the brain which is called the hippocampus. It is responsible for storing the memories. So when we get into situations that traumatized us, it narrows, it becomes small, and it gets, the memories stay there unprocessed. And he talked about fear and fright, which is always responsible for the part of the brain called the amygdala. That brain is responsible to guard. If you get struck, it is the amygdala commanding that put all the effort in this direction, there is danger here. You're walking at night, almost stepping on the snake, and the skin has the rashes. That's the brain sending the message that there is danger. Free. Take care. So the moment one experiences childhood traumas, it may not, the results may not be evidenced because it takes longer, not at least more than 30 days for the memories to form, and these memories can actually be seriously disturbing. You talked about fear for animals, we call it zoophobia. These are the people, it is under the class of anxiety. Some people fear blood, some people fear height. This fear should be excessive. How do we treat that? Sometimes with exposure therapy. We shall bring the animal with. That is the cat. If you fear the cat, you bring it, you scream. There are different ways how we can do treatment, but that is called zoophobia. It is under the category of anxiety. I think we have answered all the questions.
Thank you. Big hand clap. Once more. Thank you so much, Father Richard. Thank you so much, Brother Chrysostom. We are blessed beyond measure. And actually, this was just like to jumpstart us to just start discussing about mental awareness in our families, in our circles and all that. And we want to bring to your attention that this month has been a month of mental awareness. That's why you see there are talks, even the men had their own session, the men's guild, so it was about mental health. We had the widows, also there was some bit of mental health, and now here we are. So we are really blessed, at least some of us had missed out in those other kind of gatherings. And I think now we have a lot to ponder on. This is just the start. As Father and Brother have mentioned, that there's a lot. There's a lot. That's why they can give many days. So, Father, we thank you so much. We pray that we'll have that chance together with Brother that you can come back and also share maybe our lessons learned. Yeah, because I'm sure there's a lot we are going to also implement and also check ourselves. Some of us have anxieties for dogs and what. So I've had that treatment. Me, I've given up. I don't know if I can participate in that one. Because for me, dogs, whether they're bred or what, that one I can really. So I don't know. I think maybe we should attend the clinics also. So I've had others are cats. I know one of big people here, he fears cats, at least he mentioned. So I remember that. So thank you so much. And yes, there are some contacts that are being put here in case you need Father and Brothers contacts and you reach out to them. Yes, and as usual, last Tuesday of the month, we usually have adult catechesis. We thank our brothers and sisters who have been online and not just there, they have really participated. And we also want to inform our brothers and sisters who are undertaking marriage classes, please stay behind as usual for your brief meeting. And we shall also communicate in good time on the next topic. You shall be informed. And yeah, thank you so much. And any parting shot? Thank you so much. And let's stand up. Okay.
we have this information which we came with regarding if you need help. For us, we may be out of the country, but it has all the contacts and what Serente Center does. And as I have explained, this is the church mental facility. So the information, we are leaving it here. If you pass by, you can pick.
We also want to thank Father Brian Bugembe, who was the key, lead to organize, to have the facilitators, very appropriate people. Father, thank you so much. We want to thank Father Joe, wherever he is, I know he can hear me. We also thank you. And we also want to thank Father Mwanga. He's online, I'm sure. He should be online. So, and we look forward to have you again. And I hope when we put in a request, Father, and come back. Yes, let's have ourselves for a closing prayer. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Take glory, Father, take glory, Son, take glory, Holy Spirit, now and evermore. Take glory, Father, take glory, Son, take glory, Holy Spirit, now and evermore. Almighty Father, we thank you so much for this opportunity that you've given us to turn up for today's adult catechesis class. We thank you so much for your Holy Spirit, whom you've poured out upon us so that we are able to listen, understand, and get to know more knowledge, especially mental health. We also want to pray for all your children who are really facing challenges with mental health. Lord, you are our healer, that you'll visit them and touch them and heal them. And also that we'll also witness for you by reaching out to our brothers and sisters who may be having challenges and help them to get better and to lead them to the right places to be helped. We thank you and we praise you, and we also pray for journey mercies as we all go back home, that Lord will arrive safely and find our people sound and well at home. We ask all this through Christ our Lord. Father.
The Lord be with you. The good and loving God bless you, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Thanks be to God. Those who need the flyers, please come and get.
Let's have.
At least if you've taken one, take one so that others can also get.
Thank you.